So yeah, we haven't had a community call in a while, but I wanted to do one to update everyone on where the project is and where we're going. This was covered in our two most recent articles. It was a two-part series called The State of Subsocial. So if you have read those, this will be a repeat. But I'm going to go over those real quick, and then we can do some Q&A if there are any questions. So the first part of the series was about where are we right now. Sort of, what the team's working on right now. Every month we put out a review of the past month, but that's always in the past, about things that we've already accomplished and not necessarily what we're working on right now. And so I wanted to touch on that because our devs have been working on a pallet migration for some time now. At the moment we have two blockchains. So we have a solo chain and then a parachain on Kusama. The original reason for this was that parachain performance is not great right now, and we wanted better performance for social networking. But we're able to do some magic on the front end to make it where the slower blockchain is not as big of a deal. And having two chains is kind of complicated and confusing, so we are moving everything over to the parachain to consolidate just onto one chain. But that's taken a while. It's pretty complicated, and our developer team is not that large. So they've been working on that for a while now. Still do not have any estimated time on when that will be done, but hopefully soon. After that, they are going to start working on the full energy system. So right now, if you've noticed, basically if you want to get energy to use the platform, you have to come into our Discord server here, go to the energy bot channel and use the bot command with your account address, and then it will give you some energy, and then you can use that to make posts on the platform, like stuff, comment, etc. So that's the current implementation. It's not very good. Making people come into Discord and that they have to sign up if they don't have an account, it's not a great system, and it's basically free transactions right now, so it's not good for driving value to the subtoken. So the full energy system that they will be building, basically the way it will work is you will burn subtokens to generate energy, but it will give you more energy than the tokens you burned. And we don't have final numbers on this yet, but for example, if you burn 10 subtokens, you could get 11 energy. So it incentivizes you to burn the tokens to get energy to perform transactions instead of just using the tokens to perform transactions, because if you use energy, you can basically do more with the same amount of tokens than if you had just used the tokens instead. But the other cool part of this is that so energy is not transferable, but if I burn tokens, I can, when the energy is minted, I can have it be minted in Alice's account. So Alice does not need to get tokens. I can burn the tokens for her and give her the energy, and then she can post on Subsocial. So this means that developers of applications, people running applications, they can deal with getting the subtokens, and then they can just give energy to their users. So the users don't have to think about getting subtokens. So this is a very big user experience improvement as far as onboarding new people goes. Talk about that a little bit more in a bit. We also recently participated in the Polkadot North America Hackathon. We put out some prizes. We got a couple teams that entered. Still waiting for the official wrap-up on that. I think we'll have a summary about that coming out. We did get some cool applications built. I think we are still in talks with some of the teams. They may continue building. Alright, so yeah, how do we get grandma on Subsocial? I've been talking about this a lot recently as sort of my lens to look through in terms of getting a good user experience. We all know that getting people into Web3 and crypto is very challenging. As soon as they have to set up a wallet and save a seed phrase, a lot of people they just quit because it's too complicated. And so, my grandma is certainly not going to do that, at least most of them. So, how do we get grandma on Subsocial? How can we get rid of these barriers to onboarding people and user experience problems so that your grandma could use Subsocial. So there's 3 points here. The first is sign in. Right now you have to have a wallet to sign into Subsocial. And as I just mentioned, grandma's probably going to quit right there. So we could have an option where you can just sign in with an email and password, and that would be centralized, but it would still allow you to interact with the decentralized network. There's also some other solutions that we've looked at a little bit, or maybe people continue building in the future, where you can log in with an email and password, but it's still decentralized. So I don't have a lot of details on those, but that could be a possibility. So with either of those options, grandma can now sign in easily with an email and password, just like she does with Facebook, for example. And then right now you need to get tokens to pay the transaction fees. But as I discussed earlier, the energy system that we will be building fixes this problem, so they don't have to think about tokens at all. They just go to the website and they can use the platform. And then signing transactions, right now every time you do anything, the wallet extension pops up and you have to confirm it. So we have a couple ideas here. We could create a Subsocial browser extension or partner with existing wallet extensions like Talisman to create custom settings for transactions on the Subsocial chain. So for example, you could say, I want the extension to automatically confirm any transaction for when I like a post. But it can only do that 500 times a day. So then if you like 500 things, you won't have to confirm anything. But then when you go to like the 501st post, then the extension will pop up asking you to confirm it. And maybe you could set it where you could have a limit of 10 likes per minute. So if someone got a hold of your account somehow, or you had a virus on your computer that was trying to go like 100 things a second, it would stop it because you can only like 10 things a minute. And you can specify that just for certain types of transactions, like reactions, comments, but not for other things such as transfers, so you can still have security with your funds. Another option is to utilize a cool feature of Substrate, and it's called a proxy account. This is basically, you make a second account, and it has the ability to sign transactions on behalf of your first account, but again, you can decide which transactions those are. So you can make this proxy account and you give the private key to an application, so it can sign transactions on your behalf when you want to like something, but you can set it where the proxy account cannot transfer funds out of the main account. So you still have security over your funds there, and sort of more detail with how much security you want to have. So with either of those options, we could get rid of the need to confirm every action as well. So basically you combine all three of those and the user experience would be very similar to Facebook, Twitter, something like that, and grandma would be able to use it. So basically at that point it would be achieving the vision of not even knowing that you're using a blockchain, even though you are. Once we're done with the energy system, the developers are going to work on the staking. So we're going to be using the collator staking palette from the Moonbeam team. So if you've staked on Moonriver or Moonbeam, it should be pretty familiar. This will be much easier to implement than some other options. This will allow us to start decentralizing the chain, enabling on-chain governance, and getting rid of the super user key, the pseudo key. Don't have any ETA on that yet either. And then media storage right now, every post and image uploaded to Subsocial is stored on IPFS, and then you have a CID of that file. It's basically directions on how to get that file, and the CID is the only thing that goes on chain to save space on chain. So everything right now is stored on IPFS, but it's all on a IPFS node that we run. Because we can't get random people around the world with their own IPFS nodes to host our content. There's no reason for them to do that. So there's various projects such as Crust Network and Filecoin that basically add a payment layer on top of IPFS to incentivize all these node operators from around the world to host your content. So we are talking with Crust Network about integrating with them so that we can decentralize our storage, because right now it's all on an IPFS node that we run. So if we do that, for example, you'll have to pay fees in Crust tokens if we integrate with them. So then, a user will have to get sub and then burn that to get energy, or get energy depending on which application they're using for free. But then they would still have to get Crust tokens to actually store their content. So this is another example of where the operators of an application can essentially pay the token fees for the users, but they can still pass the cost on to the user in other ways. So an application could run advertisements, or you could have a $1 a month subscription fee, or some other method. So the operators of the applications can still make money, but then they can just massively improve the user experience for their users. I've got a lot of questions about the next parachain slot. All we can say is we don't really have plans yet. We're going to see what the competition is looking like at that point, whether or not we'll do another crowd loan or just self-fund like a lot of the other teams. But when we have a better idea, we will publish some information and let you all know. And last but not least, the spacer fleet approaches. So a couple months ago we first started teasing that we were working on a Remark II NFT collection. We're still finalizing the art, the marketing plan, and sort of the utility. But it'll basically be a VIP ticket that will have utility in the ecosystem. And we are working on some other integrations as well. Once we announce the sale, we will reveal some of the artwork, but a lot of it will remain a mystery for the time being. So that's about all we have going on right now. Thanks everyone for showing up. We'll get this recording uploaded to YouTube as well. Thanks guys, have a nice day.